Hey y'all, this is Greg of 2 Miles to Go. 80% of RVs have this problem with their freshwater tank. And I'm going to show you how to avoid this disaster. Today, I have a project that's kind of dogging me since last summer. And this is something that everybody who owns a fifth wheel and a travel trailer should be looking at and paying attention to. And that's the freshwater tank and the brackets that hold it up in place. So we have a 98-gallon freshwater tank, and it weighs 784 pounds when it's full. When we were up in Medicine Bow National Forest this past August, we filled it to go boondocking, and I'll take you under here and show you what we got. Okay, so we're going under, and freshwater tank bolts are self-tapping. I think they're 1/4-inch self-tapping that hold this whole almost 800 pounds filled assembly up. And if you look a lot online on social media, you'll see various pictures of where this is falling out on people. So my goal today is to put real bolts in these, because just that 10 or so miles that we hauled this from where we filled it up to where we boondocked, I believe loosened this one up because it's angled and there's a gap. So this is something to really think about addressing if you're into boondocking for sure, and if you carry around decent amount of water in your freshwater tank. All right, so now we have the usual drills. And then we have 9/16 of various flavor tools, because these 3/8 inch by 1 inch bolts that we're going to use are 9/16. And then the hole that goes through the brackets that has the self-tappers in it right now is a 3/8 hole. So we got a 3/8 drill bit. And if we have to cut through the coroplast, which I'm pretty sure we will on the front of the mounts, we've got Gorilla indoor-outdoor tape and an X-Acto knife for doing the cutting as decently as we can. So let's go back under. All right, so I'm going to start with the self-tapper that came loose right here. See, I'm turning it by hand. That's already that loose. And we're going to pull it. So for this particular tank, there's 16 holes in all. These holes right here don't go under or mate to any metal, so you're not going to be using them. You're going to be using these on the end of each bracket. And here's your self-tapper. These things right here are what they use to hold up almost 800 pounds of tank and water under here. So you can see, like, just rationally why you should look at upgrading these. And here's a comparison, the self-tapper versus 3/8 bolt. So you can see how that's going to be a substantial strength upgrade right there. Now for the front end of the supports, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. One, we're going to have to cut the coroplast for sure to get to these. And two, let's look at the bolts here. They're still the same self-tapping little bolts, but you got your fuel lines with the pipe shroud to go back to your fuel tank that are covering these bolts up right here. So we're going to have to disconnect this tube and get it down, and we're going to have to cut the coroplast and some spots to reach in and get to the back side of these. So a little bit more involved. Let's see how it goes. Alright, y'all, here's something you need to know about doing these front bolts. So, you can't make a simple cut right here and then reach and get to the bolts, because it's that C-channel cross beam that comes under here. So that C-channel is covering up access right here, but the C-channel is open here. So you're going to have to cut right here so you can reach in from this direction, because the C-channel is like this. See? So you got to come in from this way. So I had to make a facetious cut here, unfortunately, and I'll have to cut right here on each one to get to those. So anyways, back to it. Okay, so the Gorilla Tape, useless, doesn't stick good at all. Don't know why. Guess I might have to order some black at Turn-A-Bond. Dang it. So after drilling and cutting all day, we hit a little 2-day long snag here, and we're back. So here's the snag, Amazon. No. So with the Coroplast, you got to be careful with which tape you use, because the sort of waxy plasticiness of it, not everything adheres to it. So what that means is the Gorilla Tape right here didn't stick to it, and people online were actually saying, yeah, just cut into it. Gorilla Tape, wrong. That didn't work. Even after cleaning with alcohol, it just didn't feel good. So after 2 days, right here, a Turnabond tape and a cutting board. So you know what's about to happen here. Here we go. So something to know about this, a Turnabond tape is no joke sticky. Like once you accidentally let it plop down on something, it's there, and you're gonna have fun getting it back up. So I try and leave the non-stick wax part on one part of the tape to make it more manageable for me to use. I don't know if it works or not, but that's how I roll with it. There we go. All right, now we're starting to get there a little bit. All right, so I'm estimating 3 inches of tape right there. Oh yeah, that's doing good right there. All right, so there it is. Freshwater tank, hopefully not going to come crashing down on the interstate on you. I'll put a complete parts list in the video description, so if you want to knock this easy mod out and get it done and be a little bit more secure. Anyway, see you.